Hello, my name is Mercy Alexander, and I welcome you to another edition of the program, The Gallery. And our guest today is Mr. Linus Okorie. He's the MD CEO of Godney Leadership Center. So sit, relax, because today we're going to be learning a lot from him when it comes to leadership.
Linus Okorie is a renowned leadership development coach and human capital development consultant. For over 20 years, Linus has been known as a relentless icon in the quest for good leadership in public and corporate governance in Nigeria. His vast experience in leadership, coaching, mentoring, and advocacy across the world for over 2 decades has distinguished him as a trusted name in leadership excellence. He is the founder and president, Guardians of the Nation International Godney, a leadership development non-profit organization which has developed 15 leadership brands to train and nurture youths, elected officials, and general public on effective leadership skill and values. Consistently, Linus Okorie has carved a niche as an authority in leadership development with a career development path defined by the principle of selfless service, dignity, and integrity. Since inception, Linus Okorie has piloted Godney to become Nigeria's foremost leadership capital development organization, including the establishment of Godney Leadership Center (GLC) in Maitama, Abuja. He is currently working towards building the much anticipated Global Leadership Center at the Oguta Lake, Imo State, where excellent leaders will be groomed for the growth and development of Nigeria and the African continent. He is pioneering the emergence of a new breed of well-equipped and competent leaders to filtrate the public and private sector hierarchies in Nigeria and the rest of Africa. Linus Okorie is also the managing consultant of New Vision Consults, a world-class leadership consulting firm he founded in 2007, advising and training top-level civil servants, government officials, military and paramilitary, as well as the private sector. He is the West African representative of ADE International United Kingdom. He has inspired over 300,000 people across Nigeria and Africa who have directly gone through his leadership programs and millions through radio and television. As an influential speaker, Linus Okorie has graced many live conference, radio and television programs across Africa, Middle East, Europe and USA as a guest speaker, trainer and advisor. He is a regular guest in many print and electronic media, radio and television platforms across Nigeria. He is a radio and television presenter and host of Leadership Clinic on AIT. He is the author of Footprint Leading Beyond Today, a book already in the world market, which was forwarded by Dr. Miles Monroe. He attended Government Secondary School Owerri, Imo State, where he became the senior prefect of the school. He is a graduate of History and International Relations at Imo State University, where he served as the first elected Student Union Government President and later did his National Youth Service with the National Assembly, Abuja, after which he proceeded to carry out a research in his area of passion, leadership development, at the Lagos Business School. Linus Okorie has a master's degree in organizational leadership from Regent University, Virginia Beach, USA. He is an alumnus of International Visitors Program (IVLP), sponsored by the US government under the Department of State, a program which has produced 300 presidents of various countries since its inception. Linus Okorie is also an alumnus of the Executive Leaders Education Program at Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government, Boston, USA, with a certificate in the Art and Practice of Leadership Development. In recognition of his exceptional contribution to leadership development, he has recently bagged 2 honorary doctoral degree award and was inducted into the College of Fellows at the African Business School. He also recently received a doctoral honorary degree in Leadership Development Studies from Gregory University, Oturu, Abia State in Nigeria. He is a board member of Imo State University alumni and many others. Linus Okorie is a consummate leader of men, a man of honor, a nation builder, resource mobilizer, and a leading scholar in the growth and development of nation. He has received several local and international awards in recognition of his dynamic efforts in business leadership, development, community service, and good governance. Advocacy such as the Best African Award by the US African magazine hosting Texas, FirstNet, International USA, and many more, Linus Okorie was the governorship candidate of the Young Progressive Party, Imo State of Nigeria. Linus hails from Umezike, Ogu, Eboma in Oguta local government area of Imo State. He is married to Nkiru, with whom he has two daughters, Ebube Chukwu Chimamaka and a son, Chukwu Ebuka.
So I welcome you on the gallery. Thank you for having us. It's been like forever trying to get you to be on this program. Now, so what are the most important attributes of a successful leader?
First thing first is ability to envision. Leaders are visionary. When you find leaders who have a lot of vision, the capacity to always think about the future, they always think about, tomorrow. That's a very important element of leadership. The other one is empathy. Empathy. Leaders must empathize with, those they are leading. The other one is courage. Courage to speak truth to power. Courage, to state your position the way it is, even if it's the minority. It's a very important skill. The ability to work with people. We have very difficult human beings.
That's true.
Holding systems. You have people with different temperaments. The ability to work with the bad, the ugly, all manner of human beings. In fact, complex beings. The ability to work with them is a key element in leadership. The other thing about leadership skill that is very important for is the ability to learn. Most people, once they occupy public positions, they stop learning. And learning from superior, learning from your juniors, learning from the environment, learning from systems, learning by observation, learning by books. Learning. So you learn, continuous development, continuous learning, continuous improvement. Any leader that has a hunger for learning, that leader will leave legacies.
Wow. Now, right now we have a lot of leaders in Nigeria or all over the world, but let's talk about our country. What are the qualities that some of them are lacking in today's leadership?
Yes, a lot of leaders basically occupy public positions in the country, in Africa, and I can tell you most of it is their ability to work with people. They lack it. Most leaders also, lack humility. Humility is critical. Most leaders are not focused. Most leaders that I know of, most of the time, think about self much more than they think about the common good. So not selfless enough. That's why Simon Sinek wrote a book entitled "It Leaders Eat Last." So leaders must learn how to sacrifice, and most leaders are not sacrificing. Another element is most leaders are not investing in their leadership capital. They're not investing in growth. And the one that really pains me is that most leaders are not investing in future leaders. The purpose of leadership is not to create more followers. The purpose of leadership is to create more leaders. It's to convert leaders into followers. The ability to invest in those who will take decisions for the future is what makes leadership outstanding. And that's the real function of a true leader. The ability to groom, invest in the next generation of leaders in your institution, in your business, leaders in the country. That investment is important. So when leaders lack that, what happens is that succession planning is not working. Shouldn't be. And then another very critical thing that I think leaders are lacking is vision. Vision drives progress. Vision drives growth. Visionary leaders can transform nations. They can stretch because vision stretches you. If a man doesn't have a purpose waking up, sleeping becomes interesting. So what is that vision that can stretch a leader and discipline a leader to go the extra mile in order to be able to get things done? So most of the time you have people who think only about now. And with that vision, you can't delay gratification. and you need a lot of delayed gratification to be able to build the stamina to be able to accomplish the big vision. When people are visionary, they can overcome obstacles. They can look at obstacles and they see obstacles as stepping stones because they are visionary leaders. Visionary leaders are people who have the capacity to see beyond the current reality. So for now there might be challenges, but leaders always look beyond those challenges. Leaders who have been able to build nations, institutions, businesses that are sustainable, they have been individuals who develop very quality vision.
What is that one thing that whenever you remember it, you are so you're full of pride, like you are proud of yourself? That one thing that you have ever done that makes you so proud of yourself?
So is the day that I founded Guardians of the Nation International Company. I was only 19 years old when I founded this institution that you are in. At the age of 19, when that vision came to me, I thank God for giving me that opportunity, not to give up on the vision, not to be discouraged, because most people were discouraging me that I should rather go and find a job, somewhere and earn salary. Because at the time I found the vision, I'd not even entered university, right? Yes. And I decided to take it to the university. I raised leaders in the university. The amount of young people who influence in this country in terms of transforming their thinking, I've had over 300,000 people go through our program since inception, across board, from conferencing to training to roundtables to all sorts, and then millions through radio and television. So I am grateful to God for giving me the opportunity to have established Godly Guardians of the Nation International when I did.
That's a good one. How do you continue to grow and develop yourself as a leader?
The interesting thing is that anybody who is listening to me today, you are a leader in whatever environment, whether leading your personal life or you're leading a group or a church or family, whatever group that you're leading, that you must remember that to lead, you must be up to date with global realities and global ideas and global best practices. Because we live in a globalized world where you're no longer competing against yourselves in Nigeria. You're competing amongst the very best in the world. Distance is dead. Therefore, competition is global. What that means is that every day you must invest in your learning system. The truth of the matter is that the learning system provokes growth. Growth is about stretching. The more you know, the more you are respected, because leadership flows to the one who knows. When you know it in the boardroom, you are the one who takes leadership. So that's why anybody who wants to lead and has not deepened his content or her content, has not continually added to his knowledge or her knowledge, after a while, this individual will not be able to provide sustainable leadership. Sustainability in leadership comes from knowledge, sustainable knowledge, and the right type of knowledge as well. So that's why growth responds to learning. And the learning system is critical, where you deliberately set up in your environment a learning system, which means I learn every day. I become a perpetual learner. When you become a perpetual learner, then you can bring value. You can turn ideas into products and services. It's about a learning system. And that's what we're missing in most institutions today. The culture of learning, the culture of reading, they've disappeared. And any leader who wants to go far must bring them back.
Thank you, sir. How do you align your organization with your vision and your mission?
First thing first is that there is a leader's responsibility to create a vision. When the leader creates the vision, it is also the responsibility of the leader to clarify the vision and ensure that that vision is up to date. It is the leader's responsibility, therefore, to now transfer the vision to the team. When vision is transferred to a group of people who work for you, who work with you, a team is built. And until the vision is transferred and the team understands the vision, there will not be effective execution. So once the team catches the vision and they are willing to follow, voluntary, because a great man, my mentor, Dr. Myles Munroe, defined leadership as the ability to inspire, motivate, drive a group of people towards a particular direction via inspiration, not intimidation or manipulation. At the heart of that definition is, first of all, 5 elements. Number 1 is there's a destination. That destination is the vision. The leader shows the vision. 2, the people catch the vision. So they follow willingly, excitedly. They are part of the execution process. They are also part of the sacrifice in ensuring that the vision comes through. And guess what? The 4th element, the values that protects that vision, is built by the people too. So the people say, for us to achieve this vision, we must be honorable, we must be punctual, we must be. So the people, without anybody pushing them, the people, they do it willingly. And in the process of doing that, they pay the absolute sacrifice, the price. They pay the price. And once they are able to pay the price, the results comes in naturally. Nobody forces it.
Thank you, sir. Now, sir, let's talk about insecurity in this country. Because I've seen most of them have been in your leadership center. Now, what do you have to say about this insecurity in the country? And do you think the present government are handling this very well?
Well, my context basically is that, at the end of the day, it requires a lot of decision. The ability to make decision. Leadership is about decision making. And because leadership is about decision making, everyone who is responsible for decision making, both at the military level, at the level of policy, at the level of policy development, at the level of the implementation of policy, should be purely, like I said, it should be a decisive mood. Once decisions are made, I believe that this system know what to do exactly. But implementing the decision is what is going to make the whole thing be solved in such a very outstanding way. The other element also it's about prevention, which is the issues that we had to deal with, building an economic system that will provide opportunities for young people who have finished school to be able to earn a living wage. When you have more people working, engaged, are involved with economic practice, then you will have a lot of people who are providing value to the organizations, and most people will not have time to be recruited to be part of those giving trouble to society. The other element also would have to do with the quality of those who are elected into leadership positions, who can stir up decisions and pursue those decisions with a lot of energy is also important. And then the last element also is the fact that there has to be some strong element of unification for Nigeria. Decisions must be made based on one Nigeria. I mean, what benefits everybody, not what benefits any part of the country. So when people will feel a sense of justice, once people feel a sense of justice over time, then it helps in calming down the nerves of quite a lot of people, and then people can buy into the project Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. Now, what are the courses when it comes to your leadership center?
Yeah, so right here at the Godly Leadership Center, we have programs like Advanced Leadership Program for very high level executives, and this stretches for a week.
Just a week?
It stretches for a week. I mean, it's intensive, from morning till evening. People are, learning, and so they are learning strategy and execution. Sure. They are learning decision making and negotiation. They are all, learning strategic thinking. They are all learning mind leadership. They are learning, transformational leadership. They are learning sustainability. in terms of leadership. They're learning quite a whole lot, team dynamics and all of that. So by the time they go out from here, they have developed certain skills on how to be able to at least advance their careers and add value to the companies that or institutions that they represent. And then you also have middle level program for middle level managers, the leadership masterclass. You have programs for human resource executives. You have for customer service executives. You have for media practitioners.
Okay.
Absolutely. You have for personal assistants and executive assistants. You have for every segment of society is represented in terms of the kind of program value that we deliver in the Body Leadership Center. At the moment, and most especially, we also have a program for young people.
And they are all for a week?
And they are fellowships where if you are successful in society and you want to give 40 young people an opportunity to go through a leadership program in your name, then you'll be able to make it happen. So they become your fellows. That's what happens at the Leadership Center.
And they are all just a week?
Yeah, most of those courses are a week, some 2 weeks, basically at the moment. But in the future, we're going to be having, programs that run for
a month?
Yes, for a month. And even, sometime in the future, of course, leadership master programs and things like that.
Thank you, sir. Now, sir, right now, you see youths, we don't want to sit down and read. And like what you said earlier, that it's important as a leader who wants to be successful, you need to read at least 3 hours a day. Now, what do you have to say to our youths? Because right now, a lot of them are into some shady things, cybercrime. What do you have to say to them?
Oh, so the truth of the matter is that let me commend, first of all, the young people of this country, within and outside the country, who have bought into this message and committed, in different sectors of the economy. Young people are doing great stuff. I think there should be emphasis a lot on a lot of young people who are making a lot of progress, stretching, working very hard, creating systems, creating organizations, creating businesses, and are making a lot of progress. I want to commend those young people. I also want to call upon the other young people who are still struggling with one failure or the other, and who are trying to go through some shortcuts. Truth of the matter is that sustainability is critical, and because sustainability is critical, I'll advise you that you find yourself, try and discover yourself in whatsoever area of life endeavor that you are. If you find yourself, then you will be able to grow yourself to become somebody of note, and then you can take learning very seriously. I literally would advise you, go the path of growth and progress, and society would appreciate you for your contribution.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, my viewers. As you have heard from our guest today, you need to read at least 3 hours a day. I'm sure he's talking to me because I hardly read, and I think I've learned 1 or 2 things, and I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things like I did today. Bye and have a wonderful day. But don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles. I still remain your host, Mercy Alexander. I welcome you to another exciting edition of your program, The Gallery. My name is Mercy Alexander. Sit and I'll be right back.
Celebrating high achievers, one name rings a bell. The Chief Servant, Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliyu, CON Talban Mina, was born on 12th November 1955 in Chachanga local government area of Niger State to Al-Haji Aliyu Muazu, the first Magajin Gari and the late second Yakin Mina, and Ajia Jamila, a princess in the Malawa ruling house of Zazzau Emirate. He received his early primary education at the Central Primary School, now IBB Primary School, Mina, between 1960 1963 and 1969. Later, he proceeded to Sokoto College of Arts and Arabic Language Studies, now Sheikh Mahmoud Gumi College, from 1970 to 1974. In the area of community services, Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliyu had always taken special interest in the welfare of communities where he had lived both at home and abroad. Some of such services he rendered include the membership of the Executive Committee of the Parent-Teacher Association at the Adesoye College, Offa, the Chairman of Parent-Teachers Association, Pittsburgh, PA, United States of America, Chairman and the Secretary, Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Lagos, National Audition, Nigeria Union of Teachers, Headquarters, Vice President, National Association of Public Administration and Management, and President, Student Union College of Education, Sokoto. He was for 8 years the Chairman of the Forum of 19 North State Governors. He is currently the Chairman of the Forum of Former Governors in Nigeria.
Now, I welcome you to a very beautiful episode of today's show, because we have a wonderful one at that, a man who has touched the life of people not only in Niger State, but also in Nigeria at large. They call him the chief servant, because like he said, he loved to serve the people. He doesn't want to be called His Excellency, but chief servant. He is Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliyu. I welcome you to the show, Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor to be with you here today.
It's my pleasure.
With your countless outstanding achievements, what was that drive? What is that thing that keeps you going, that gave you that strength to achieve all this?
I think when you grow up in a well-educated family, large family, where right from your youthful days or from your young days, you know that you really have to excel, not just to become a number. And I have a wonderful mother who had always encouraged me until today. Anytime I discuss with her, I come out feeling stronger than anybody around. So for me, the strength had always been there, the drive had always been there, and the ability to get things done. Believe me, if you ask me how I get things done, sometimes I can't explain, but I know that whatever issue you bring, we should be able to solve it.
Now, sir, as a community man, what are some of those ways you have served your community?
Do we start with the NYSC first? I was 22 when I was posted to Lagos to serve in the National Youth Service Corps, and I served. I taught in Ipori, Jubril Martins Memorial Grammar School, Ipori, Lagos. Came back, started teaching in Niger State, and with the contract after 2 years, I went back to school. Achievement in terms of community, one sometimes does not want to count what he has been doing around, because many of them will be silent, like feeding people, going, assisting those who are indigent. You don't want to announce those ones. But in terms of achievement to assist not just a community, but a state and the people, then believe me, that's why we have been very involved. Also in our unofficial capacity, at the moment, I am the chairman of Board of Trustees of Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation. Sir Ahmadu Bello was the premier of Northern Nigeria, who laid a solid foundation on a very, very good value system. But after a while, we saw that values been eroded and broken, and we thought that we needed to let people understand that there were still things to be learned from the administration and the personality of Sir Ahmadu Bello. And I'm there now. I'm also the chairman of the former PDP Governors Forum, and at the moment what I am involved in also is resuscitating the Nigeria Governors Forum. That is a non-partisan former Governors Forum, whoever was a governor, and we have up to about 80-something members on that front. And I believe that is probably the largest, if you will, the biggest organization with the kind of political experience that, if harnessed properly, can help whoever is in administration, either at the state level or at the federal level, to really succeed. But what has become obvious, and I think as a result of the military rule, we have become, one, impatient. Two, democracy needs a lot of patience. Because the decision-making process can be very slow. But once the decision had been reached in that slow motion, taking all the information required for the decision to be made, you will find that it's a solid decision. But as Nigerians, we have become very used to alacrity, immediate effect of the military. And because of the coup d'etat that had occurred severally in this country, every government that comes in as a result of a coup will try to condemn whatever the other government had done. And unfortunately, we have also transferred it into civil rule and democracy, which is not good. Once you take over, go ahead. If you can, complete what your predecessor has started, because it's a continuous process. It's not a personal thing to come and say, oh, I'm not going to complete what he has started. If it is not economically viable, go to the people and let them know. But not to make it look like it's a personal fight between you and your predecessor. That is not good. So in terms of that, again, we have been going around to enlighten people on so many things. Just recently, I was invited to deliver a convocation lecture in Sokoto. And I went around, and I was invited to Kaduna also to inaugurate a support group. And that's how we keep ourselves busy. And also planning, thinking, how can we capture 2023?
That's a good one, sir. Now, sir, as a former governor of Niger State,
Yes, ma'am.
and you are well-grounded, you're very educated, what are the impacts you have done for your state
One,
in respect of education?
There are many things that I'm passionate about, but mostly education, because I enjoyed it very free. My primary school, my secondary school, my university were all free, and in fact, I was paid to stay in school. When I say that, some people try to ask, how are you paid? I said, when I was in secondary school, I was paid transport money for every holiday, to and fro. I was given a uniform for play and uniform for classroom. I was given soap to wash my clothes. I was fed free. So for me, that is actually free education. And like I said, I enjoyed mine from elementary school to the university. The only time I paid was when I went to do my master's and PhD, and that's outside Nigeria. That's why I had to pay my way up. When I went to Niger State and I discovered that people were still paying school fees, and there was even discrimination in terms of so-called indigent, non-indigent, I cancelled it. And I translated, because it's in our law that education should be free from elementary to junior secondary school. And UBEC, that is Universal Basic Education Commission, was established purposely for that to satisfy those issues. So
During your time?
no, even now, it's still there. It's still there, but you need to do, you complement whatever you want. You want 1 billion from UBEC, you bring 1 billion, they bring 1 billion. If it is 1 billion you want, bring 500 million naira, and I utilize that properly. And I make sure that both education at that level, in fact, up to the secondary school level, was free.
Yeah.
And people were really mobilized. Today, I hear people, and I'm very happy when somebody says to me, oh, I wouldn't have finished my secondary school if you had not come. But with your coming, we did this, we did that. And I see an old man greeting me, being very friendly. There was a time when one came and embraced me, and the security were about to punish him. And I said, no, leave him alone. Sir, what is, why did I owe this? He said, look, I had 3 children. And anytime they were going back to school, my hypertension would come. But one day, as I was going around trying to get the fees and their school feeding and whatever, they came back and said, Talba, which is my traditional title in Mina, Talba has cancelled that, so here is your money back. So from that time, he had become healthy. So what I did was also to train and retrain and insisted that nobody will get a promotion until he has this particular training, or in the case of permanent secretaries, nobody will be appointed permanent secretary until he had master's degree program. You will go to a school and find out, a secondary school or a primary school, you discover a headmaster or a principal and 1 or 2 teachers only of classes from 1 to 6. So we needed at that time to do what we had to do, and I'm happy till tomorrow people are still reminding us of what we have done. Maybe we part of the experience is this, which political science seem not to have captured properly. It is not your skyscrapers, it is not your beautiful roads, but the way people feel at the time you are there. Sometimes people don't remember the skyscrapers. Many people will not know or do not know that the dualized Abuja-Kano road was constructed under Babangida. With some viewers, if the present government succeeds in the repairs, people may even be arguing, no, it was Babangida, no, it was Buhari that did.
Yeah.
So,
You're very correct.
but the way people feel at the time you are there, were they happy? Can they compare your life with either your predecessor or your successor? That becomes very important. And therefore, in your leadership style, you must have compromises, you must have consultations, you must have negotiations. In terms of security, what I did, like I told you, on up the security apparatus. Don't wait to say until the federal government gives them something to do. No, you have in your fund, in your budget, you have what they call now, they have made it look like is a mess. They make it look like it's an ill thing to do. You have a security vote. You don't wait. The federal government, whether we like it or not, is really overwhelmed by the nature of the problems that we have on the ground, and the population or the number of security agents that we have in this country are not commensurate with the population.
At all.
If you talk about police, 370,000 with about 170,000 doing domestic work, meaning they follow VIPs or do home securities and co. So even if that is the issue, you are left with only 200,000 to 206 million people. That is not right. So what I did in terms of security, and that's why we didn't have much problem in Niger State, was to own up the security agencies. Apart from reading the security reports, there was a weekly security meeting. And for me, I never questioned the security report. I will always go and find out, even if it is a lie, even if the security report is to say we want some money to do this, I would prefer to give them the money than to come and see the problems on my face. And we need to be very proactive in whatever position we find ourselves.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Now, I want to ask this question. Why is it that they call you chief servants? I
deliberately chose that to remind people, you see, the word excellency. How does a governor become excellent? If you are that excellent, what a governor? Move up. Whoa. Do something. Because if you are excellent, I will see the nature of research you have done. If you are excellent, I will see what you have manufactured. If you are excellent, the lexicon of excellency started with the sovereignty. Sovereign leaders are regarded as excellencies, and then they are representatives. The high commissioners, the ambassadors, and whatever nature, those are excellencies out of respect for the nations. But a governor in a state who had to go and beg to be elected, because it's like a competition, apart from the number of parties, even at your party level, you have to compete with so many people to be elected. Then how do you become excellent in that? That you have won election? Is that enough? And how many have served excellently well for their people to call them excellency? So that's why I chose what I have been used to. I have always been called civil servant. So
you choose that name yourself. And
yes,
I think you're very correct, chief servant. So I will learn from now to start calling you.
When you give your name, whatever you decide to call yourself, believe me, that is what you gravitate towards.
Now, if you had an opportunity to change one thing in this country right now, what would that be?
First and foremost is to provide what the Constitution says is the responsibility of government. Securing the lives and property of the people and providing for their welfare. I will concentrate on that one first before all other things.
Now, of all your main achievements, which one could you mention that whenever you remember it, you say, no, this, God has given me the grace to do this one and I've done it well?
I think you encapsulate all the things that one has done in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of other things. But like I told you, my happiness is that wherever I go in Niger State today, people are happy to see me. So for me, that is enough. That you have given me assignment, you are happy that I've done very well. That's all.
Now we'll have to call it a day, Excellency, sir. Before we go, we need you to advise the leader out there, the one who is still serving, and also with the youth, because just a few months ago, you agree with me, there's an issue with the NSAS, and it was a massive something in the country that people were killed and so many things happened.
I really hope that people don't see the NSAS as really the main thing. The NSAS is a reflection of what has been happening in the country. The level of poverty, the lack of opportunities for people. I remember that people were begged to put their children to school. But because we have not been able to expand and generate work, somebody with a degree, a son of a farmer, who ordinarily would have gone to the farm without this his degree paper. Our curriculum in the university has not been helping our youth to learn other skills other than that certificate that they will come out with. And we have gone so low. Recently, I read the Minister of Education said there are many graduates who cannot read and write. Afe Babalola, the proprietor of that university, Afe Babalola, came out openly and said many of the graduates cannot justify their certificates. So we are even talking of those ones who have been opportune to go to school. What about the number that have not been able to go to school? Maybe they were doing menial jobs here and there, and all this seem to have vanished. So we must recognize that. And the crisis that reflected ESSAS also coincided that our educational system has gone that bad that a strike of an employer will extend up to 9 months. And now we are reaping the result because many of the universities are cancelling that year. And now what I've been asking is, will they still admit new people? If you cancel, it means those who are in that year will remain in the first year. Now, are you going to admit the same number of people, given what we see in the universities now, in the lecture halls, where you have this number of people, and you are not even using some scientific ways of teaching, new technology in teaching? So, there are many ways to really advise, but the most fundamental is to see delegation power is very important. When you delegate, you must also hold them responsible for the powers you have delegated to them. It is unfortunate that it is only in Nigeria where you see a minister in the government complaining about his boss and about the governance in his country, and he refuses to resign. So the advice is, whenever you see things not going the way you think, leave that place and do something else. But you cannot stay criticizing or abusing your employer. In this case, if you are a minister, you are employed by the government, ratified by the National Assembly. You cannot stay accusing, or a party that has voted you into power, that without that party you could not have been a governor, you could not have been a president. A governor comes out abusing his party, making it look like he did not leave that party if it is that bad. But don't spoil its name, probably because of your personal ambition or because of your petty jealousy of other people. You must not do that. So for the youth, while one will keep on emphasizing patience, I know there is a limit to patience. But that we must try to create skill acquisition centers. And those youth that can afford to acquire skills, please let them try to do it. The government of Nigeria, given the number of institutions that we have, may not be able to generate the kind. And the civil service work that used to be there may not necessarily be there. And that is my quarrel also with the qualification and the training of teachers. If I told you, I asserted the other time that no northern state has up to 50% qualified teachers. Now, it's an institution. It should question properly some of the things. I was talking to somebody about the budget that was just passed, and I saw 3 trillion for servicing debt, 5 trillion for as deficit, and the whole total budget is federal government